Danny's about to get back in. That's two fouls on Quentin Grimes. That's not a great start for Dallas, especially with PJ Washington being out. And Thunder have the last 6 points, looking for a seventh. They're going to take out Lively as well. This is generally the way they've done it when it's mattered. Giving those guys centers about 4 minutes each. They did, of course, start Lively. Danny, you want to say something? I still can't hear you, though. My mic has a lot of background noise. That's quite possible. Maybe I'm using the wrong one. Yeah, that's right. Thanks for letting me know. There we go. That should be better. Yeah, we were behind the 8 ball here. I didn't realize this game had started. I was watching the end of the other one. So it's Dort in the corner for a 3 over Duncan. That's been a matchup pretty often. And Dort had a rough start shooting this year, but he's come on and about where he was last year. Now here's Duncan. Tough step back over Dort. And Marshall, who just came on, kept it alive, but he fouled Williams. Good job by Hartenstein not giving up the initial offensive rebound. Yeah, Washington is out. It's annoying. He's having a special season. Yeah, it seems like this illness going around Dallas. Marshall just missed 4 games with that illness. He's just coming back now. There's Cason Wallace off the screen, back out to Dort for another one. And that's just not good enough defense by Dallas to give up a wide open 3 on an interaction between Dort and Wallace. Like, you should just be able to switch that. 2 guys end up going to Wallace. They seemed like very concerned about him coming off that initial screen to the sideline, and then 2 guys stayed on him, and he just threw it right back to Dort. And that's an important sort of thing for OKC to get when you've got only really 2 premium creators to get. Every little bucket that you can get that's not created by those guys adds up. Yeah, feel free to jump in with some comments.
This is the worst mic, but I want to see if you can hear me with this.
Yeah, I can.
That's interesting because I did an Audacity test and it was fine. So I'll try to work through it.
Oh, so is it so it's recognizing it in playback, you click on it, but it's not actually saying anything, but it works in other programs?
Yes. And so
no,
correct. I think I switched back to I'll keep I did a test in Audacity using the correct mic and it was fine. It's selected. That's all fine.
Yeah. Now, the issue is that the internet sucks here. Cable companies will advertise their download speeds as like a gigabyte, and then they will throttle your upload speeds to something incredibly terrible. So that's, if I do cut out, that's going to be the reason. In fact, I'll just turn off my camera. That'll probably help that. I don't think anyone really needs to see me anyway.
Yeah.
That's a better.
So Nate, is my audio, because it's just going off the computer mic? Do you think it's tolerable, or should I keep trying to
try? It should be fixable if you can get it to work in other programs.
It's super weird.
I would say just like he's using the computer mic though. He's not using like his actual mic. I would say maybe try to if you refresh it, you select that mic and then it's nothing, huh?
Correct.
Maybe close Chrome and reopen it.
I've already done that, but I can try it again.
All right. Yeah, it's good. We'll give that a shot. Thanks, guys, for being patient with us. All right. Well, we can if it doesn't work, then we'll just deal with it. All right. You guys have low standards for audio quality. I guess nobody's really listening on headphones here. It's really incredible to me the number of people who like appear to know something about audio in these comments and have something to say. It's how do we have this many people who are doing like audio stuff? Like, is that just like a normal thing that like a bunch of people do at this point? So yeah, good pressure to force them to slow it down to get into the offense. So yeah, this is interesting here. This is my first chance to really lock in that they are going with that same approach of really blitzing Luka that they went to in the Western Conference semifinals a year ago. Shea, nice pass, corner Wallace, missed that three. Good job by Luka getting out there for the challenge. Here's Thompson. Yeah, they want to pressure him. They want to make this difficult. He goes into Wallace and couldn't turn the corner, but was able to bank it in. Not a great shot, but it goes down. There's Williams in the pick and roll, kicks out, and it's another three by Wallace. He's missed two straight now. Now Luka has the size advantage on Wallace, spins over his right shoulder, and Luka Doncic has been outstanding since he returned, shooting 50% from the field, 42 from three. I think it's been 4 games now. Here's Shea on the attack against Hartenstein, going downhill at Gafford and hit a tough one. I've been very impressed with Shea Gilgeous's ability, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's ability to be a good pick and roll player when they haven't really played that way at all. There's Williams, gets to his spot. No, back to Hartenstein. That was a really tough floater. He never brought that down. That was a no-dip floater. You don't see that often. Here's Marshall. The knife going right to the basket. And that's going to be a timeout by Mark Daigneault as Najee Marshall giving them some impetus in transition and Dallas surging back in front by 3. Nah, I guess you got to just go back to the computer, Mike. It's very odd.
Yes, it is. It is very odd.
But they said it's fine. I've got my headphones on. I can deal with it. They said you're a little loud. Maybe I can boost myself.
Or I can turn myself. I should be able to turn myself down actually.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. If you get excited, you might top out a little bit.
Yeah. I should be able to do that. Just give me a second.
The struggle is eternal.
Always.
What's going on with Daigneault's haircut? I'm not sure. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty even.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knocked it down a few notches. So
yeah, no, it's perfect.
Yay. So apologies for that. I still have no idea what in the world is happening, but we can happily that my computer microphone works well enough that people will live. But I tested on Skype, so the podcast will be fine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. All right. So let's catch up on like what actually happened here so far. Milwaukee won earlier. They pulled it out. Dame Lillard did what he was brought there to do with his clutch heroics in a game that the Bucks tried their hardest to punt away at the end. And looking at this one, Mavs have gotten to the basket quite a bit. They've already got 5 buckets in the paint, and that's kind of what that OKC strategy is supposed to be avoiding by keeping them further out on the perimeter and blitzing them. But they've moved the ball pretty well. They've got some transition also.
And in terms of shot distribution, both teams have taken 7 of their 14, exactly half of their shots from 3. And something that we're going to watch closely in this game is, can Oklahoma City force turnovers on Dallas? So far, 2, one of those live ball. And I'm turning my camera off because I wanted it on so we could figure out the mic issue. And if you're having yours off, I'll have mine off.
No, mine's back on. So instead it was fine. Yeah, you guys let me know if I cut out. I'll turn it off again.
Still baffles me how Dylan Brooks and Lou Dort cleaned up their shot diets. Who else could do that? I mean, it's a hard thing. I mean, another player who I think has done that a little bit, not to the same extreme, is Tyler Hero. Yeah, Mo's brought it up. Like that Tyler Hero taking out like kind of the one or two worst twos every game has made a world of difference for him in terms of effectiveness.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Brooks, his shot diet actually, like, this is something that I pointed out in his later years in Memphis, that when he was on the floor with Bane and Ja, he had like a 13% usage. He probably had a pretty similar shot diet to what was taking place in Houston now. It's just that he is also making his threes. Like, he shot 30% from threes last year in Memphis as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Dort trying to finish inside, but Hartenstein, as Gafford had rotated over, Luka had the next box out on Hartenstein. He missed it.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Gafford needed to come over to contest that shot.
No, Dort is a pretty miserable finisher. There's Luka over to Thompson. That was a great closeout by Dort right in the face of Thompson. That was a great pass, but better defense by OKC flying around. Dort tried to fly in for the rebound. It bounced over his head. Luka ahead, and there's Casey Wallace to take it away after Shea, who's been taking more threes off the dribble this year, took one from outside. He'll interact with Hartenstein.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's good awareness from OKC, understanding through familiarity that Luka loves to throw that pass. And so you hustle back and you can get a read on it. There's a lot of time to react to hit-ahead passes if you're in the space to do so.
So Hartenstein will sit down, and they go with Kenrich Williams, who missed about the first month or so of the season, coming off of surgery. I think it was knee surgery, and now he's back.
And so
Caruso in as well.
And I want to see the assignment on the other end. Who is Caruso guarding in their base alignments?
Yeah, they like to go to Caruso when they don't go to the center, as Caruso misses the three, but offensive rebound. Williams is a great rebounder for his size. Shea gets Gafford on him. Now it's Marshall getting back onto him. They move it to Caruso. He missed 2 threes in a row. Another offensive rebound. They're killing him there. Joe on the move. He's shut down by Kyrie. They give it back to Shea. He's going to go right through Kyrie here and hit the mid-ranger on the right baseline.
Yeah, it's a third chance bucket for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Much like Kevin Durant, who I actually think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has some similarities in his game to Kevin Durant, that Shea, he's not the strongest guy, but if he has a size advantage, that's an incredible pass by Luka in NFL. If Shea has a size advantage, that you're dead, because he'll just knock you back and get like the easy mid-ranger. So there aren't that many guys that he's stronger than, but if he is stronger than him, that guy just has no chance. Just saw Jake Fisher. Well, here we'll talk about.
We'll talk about the break.
Yeah,
it's a good question though.
Yeah, here's Doncic. Oh yes, that is such a good pass there with Lively in the game, and they took Gafford out with OKC going small. There you see the versatility of Lively running Joe off the line defensively. Like Luka has the ability to throw that pass up to Lively, and there's no one big enough to stop him. There's Shea kicking out Caruso. Oh, that was too hard of a closeout by Luka, but Caruso got stopped on the rotation. That was Kyrie. Luka tried to throw it to Lively, who was in no position to make that catch.
I loved on the prior trip down that Luka had really nice passes to the bigs 2 times to two different centers because of the sub on the foul.
Yeah, as we talked about, or at least I did, they like to go about 4-minute stints for these centers and then throw them back in. They usually will end up playing about half the game. Caruso going to set the screen here. They are putting Lively on Caruso. Shea will just fire. Again, this is, so there's a steal in the backcourt by Caruso. He McConnelled him, and Caruso did not want to take that corner three. Instead, it's Williams who cashes out.
And Caruso's reluctance to shoot that pays off, and he was they're playing hot potato with it, but it goes to the better shooter so far this year.
Yeah, the other thing that they've doing is when they've gone without a big, that's when they go back to Caruso to his help defense ability. As Thompson is wide open in the corner, they rotated onto Dinwiddie, but he couldn't make it. The help defense ability of Caruso makes up for the lack of size. Here's Joe. Good handoff there by Caruso, but OKC can't hit their open threes recently, aside from Kenrich. Luka finding the short roll. They move it again. Wide open. Corner three is Dinwiddie. Dallas is getting very good open shots right now.
And that was great work by OKC, though, having their low men who are small deter Lively from taking that shot.
Here's Shea going into Lively. He had a good look, but he just shot it off the backboard. And there's a steal. It's Marshall who lost it. This is Shea going in on Luka, knocks him back, and Luka reached in for a foul. He raises the finger to take credit for it. So yeah, let's actually, I guess we'll say, yeah, it is going to be a timeout here, right? No, I guess it's just, I don't see anything wrong with Mark Daigneault's haircut. It's just like the normal thing. I have never thought that Daigneault was particularly particular about his haircut. Oh yeah, there's that play I talked about for like another 10-minute rant today with John.
Gilgeous Alexander's line. He's up to 12 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3. And I mean, we've talked about it before, but the increasing not only the volume but the difficulty of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 3-point attempts is important.
They're putting in Luka. Do you like that strategy to start? I think you probably have to when you're small. When you're big, I might have messed around with more of a drop. But, I mean, Luka, you see what he does against any team that plays a drop. So, I would have considered maybe switching more.
Sure.
As a possibility. Here's Marshall, tried to draw the foul, and he finished. Tough finish there. OKC can push it here, though, with Marshall down. Joe, nice job by Dinwiddie cutting him off one-on-one. They move it, though. Caruso to his third three of the quarter. That one does go down above the break. Big shot for him.
And we've seen Jason Kidd recently, including that game against Denver, be really aggressive in terms of the guys he's willing to let shoot.
And Doncic tried to draw the foul on Caruso. Nothing doing there. That was a give up by Doncic. Not very good. OKC in position for a 2-for-1. Joe will take it. And it's short. Now, maybe Dallas will get a 2-for-1. They throw it. That's the second time Luke has been picked off on that exact pass. Not good enough there for Doncic. About a 10-second differential. Shea will get right to work here. Steps back and hits. Ooh. I think that was Omax Prosper. He hit that on. Prosper in the game with the illness to PJ Washington. He hasn't been able to participate tonight. Now Dinwiddie going to try to come off a Luka screen and get the switch. Caruso getting into him. Here's Prosper. Oh, and that was a bad foul by Shea. He's saying it's on the ground, but Prosper was about to commit a charge, and Shea bailed him out.
Yeah, and that's ball hawking. Sometimes it goes a little bit wrong. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is better than almost anybody at it, but yeah, that would have been a charge.
Well, so they are not, however, in the bonus. So I think he was attempting to make the foul to give in that circumstance, and he succeeded in that. That's not a bad circumstance to give it. We actually saw a play where they could have done a foul to give Milwaukee at the end of the third quarter, I think it was, on Orlando, and then just let the guy go right to the rim instead.
Mm-hmm.
So Shea will sit down. Dort is in. And with 3.1 left, let's see if Luka can get an incisive pass here. Irving is back in as well. They lob it up way into the corner. Grimes, tough step back. No. And that'll do it. OKC, nice run to end that quarter. Luka, a couple of turnovers. And OKC, much like what took place in the playoff series last year, like it doesn't look great when they put 2 on the ball, but they only gave up 24 points. We'll see whether they can survive this same Dallas shot diet throughout the whole game.
And Nate, importantly, Dallas started this game because it was before we began watching it. They started at 8-0. So this is 32-16 since that lead. And of course, those 8 points count, but it is thinking about where the game is going, ebbs and flows. And I think we get to back to that point that A. Rosie brought up from Jake Fisher of team officials being maybe happy that they didn't make it into the quarterfinals because they get 5 days off and a game against weaker opponent. Well, so on the days off thing, I think of it more as a silver lining. It is an element. I brought this up in the 15 and 60 about when the vagaries of scheduling an NBA Cup in season is that you have to give all of the teams break because you don't know who's going to be in, who's going to be out. It's too little notice, all that type of stuff for the arenas and everything. But that's why these have to be regular season games, why they have to count as regular season games, because otherwise you could argue in certain circumstances that it would be an incentive, but if you're not going to sacrifice regular season wins for a larger break.
So the other thing too is this is front offices who are happy. The players would like to get their $100,000 or $500,000 or whatever. Like if you win the quarterfinal game, you get 100. I think it's 250 for making it to the final and 500 for the final. I hope they actually increase that number. And yeah, like you do have to play the one extra game, but also some of those other teams have to make up some of that time as well later.
And we've talked about this before, but one of the things that I really enjoy about the NBA Cup, it's funny. I was I was family stuff talking to people who aren't as intent on the NBA and all that as you are. Is like we wouldn't be like a lot of people wouldn't be talking about this. You and I would talking about a game like this, but it brings intrigue and it brings some stakes to a time in the season where basketball often gets lost in the shuffle. So from that reason, like you've created value where there was very little.
Jacob says, you think there's been a change in NBA defense to where limited offensive players are being run off the line more and forced to make decisions? Yeah, I think that's maybe true to a certain extent. I don't know that it's a change in the defense. It's more just that there's generally a need to make more decisions. And so yeah, maybe it really is a bit of a change where they're just like, yeah, if you can't do that, but you're like Matisse Thybulle or something, like, yeah, we'll run you off the line and we'll live with you trying to make a decision. Yeah, I think there probably is something to that, particularly in the corners.
From Robbie, are limited offensive players more skilled now than before? They're the same relatively. I think they're more skilled than before.
Oh, so much more skilled than before. It's not even close.
And
there's no Michael Currys or Trenton Hassels who are getting tick for good teams anymore.
Or it's too hard.
Yeah. Or just like head knocking power forwards. Like the centers are way more skilled than they used to be in the past. So here's the non-Shea minutes. Shea went the whole first, I believe. He was on fire. Here's Williams working on Prosper, who did a nice job staying in front. Now he switches off the ball to deny Caruso. Mitchell trying to get to his left hand against Grimes, who exited early with the 2 fouls, and he missed it. Hartenstein tied up Lively, but he got to the rebound anyway. I'd be interested to see Omax Prosper, how he looks in a game like this. He's looked okay so far.
Yeah, hasn't stuck out like a sore thumb.
Here's Kyrie into the lane. Oh, nice play by AJ Mitchell coming off of Quentin Grimes in the opposite corner. And we are seeing Caruso on Kyrie. They're going to that approach of trying to just have Caruso erase Kyrie in the non-Luka minutes. And I do think Caruso relatively can make more of a difference on Kyrie than on Luka, as Hartenstein got the left elbow up. And, it was Dinwiddie, not Grimes, who he gave a little bit of an elbow to and got called for the offensive foul.
I think
the left elbow here.
I think the league's gotten a little bit better this year at calling illegal screens, which I want them to be even more aggressive on it.
Yeah, now that's probably right on the borderline. You're allowed to quote unquote firm up, as Dinwiddie with a tough fading 3 off the split cut. Nice. High screen. Here's Williams. Likes to go left about 65% of the time as a driver, and that's the shot that he'll take a lot is that left elbow mid-ranger starting from the right side of the floor going left. Here's Dinwiddie getting past Mitchell, pumps, but Mitchell bothered him. Here's a push for OKC again. Lost it, but here's Aaron Wiggins who fires a three. Wiggins has been on fire again from three this year. Mitchell just smoked the layup. He was right there.
Yeah, I should have gotten
Didn't
that one.
have, yeah, he didn't have to rush it like that. Here's Grimes into the corner. Prosper, look out. Oh, he's stopped by the combination of Williams and Hartenstein. Now it's Kyrie with 2 on the ball. Sprays it out. They're going to have to get this off quickly. Drive by Grimes, floats it, and
That should be a shot clock violation. Never hit the
yeah.
rim. Yeah. And this is something I brought up in the 1560, the Jalen Williams Hartenstein minutes, whether they were going to pair these guys when Shea was off the was on the bench, and I like that. It helps give their offense an identity.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Williams looks as more of a pick and roll creator, but they do need just generally more decision makers. Here is Williams. Same thing, right to left. That one goes down. There's Caruso into the ball on Kyrie. Kyrie working. Oh yeah, that was a beautiful tete-a-tete right there.
Yeah.
Caruso. I thought Caruso had Kyrie, and Kyrie faked and got him on the step through. That was beautiful. Here's Hardenstein with a 3 from up top. That recalls the days when I watched him as a prospect at the Adidas
Summit.
Euro Camp. No, it was 2014. He never played in the Hoop Summit.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
He was in it was actually in Italy. That he was kind of more of a like skilled power forward sort of player back then. Here's Prosper in the corner, and he cashes that out. A little bit of a hitchy motion, but they take advantage of the aggressive OKC defense, and they're right back in contact here. Only 2 points for OKC here at the start of this period. Handoff, Mitchell likes to go left, fell down trying to get back that way. He's stopped by Grimes. They throw it ahead and throw it away. Wiggins has all day. Yes, that was a killer turnover. Absolute killer turnover. And yeah, this is interesting actually. Like Mitchell, he's sort of like getting shoved a few times. I can't see who he's like been getting involved with as Dinwiddie. Great job there. That's old school Brooklyn Nets for the first time around. Spencer Dinwiddie, who used to get to the line quite a bit. He timed out. Aaron Wiggins felt the contact there. Maybe that one could have been a non-shooting foul because he's got his hand in the cookie jar first before the decision to shoot it.
And Spencer Dinwiddie, he's had would resurgence be an overstatement? He's definitely been better this year than last year.
So he had a quote. I want to look it up, actually. He basically said he was deciding between Dallas and the Lakers last year, and that the Lakers was your dad and Dallas was your mom. Dallas was like nurturing. The Lakers was like challenging. He probably should have gone back to mama. And I think he decided to do that in the offseason when his performance with the Lakers didn't get him a job.
And so that was a reach by Spencer Dinwiddie on Jalen Williams. And is that a shooting foul?
Yeah, my one regret actually is that we can't hear this coach's audio. It's annoying to have them on screen, but it's great to hear it. I mean, there was some awesome stuff with like Doc Rivers telling Gary Trent, like, no, you should shoot the gap on Anthony Black instead of going over. And there are a few like motherfuckers in there as well. Yeah.
By the way, there was a nice shot there of Jason Kidd standing at the table with Devin Harris right behind him. Mavericks point guards.
Traded for one another.
Yeah.
A trade that I actually hated at the time. And part of that was that I didn't understand enough about basketball, quite frankly. Although Harris did have a total meltdown after like a year of being really good in New Jersey. He just was never the same due to injuries. Here's Kyrie going left, picked up nicely by Williams. Williams trying to keep him on the side. Kyrie gets to his right. Here comes the double team. Kyrie trying to get away, lobs it up. That was incredible.
Oh.
Absolutely beautiful work. He sucked in about 4 OKC defenders and lobbed it to the front of the rim. That clearly a point of emphasis here for the Dallas Mavericks early. You see Wiggins come over probably too aggressively, I would say. I think that was contained. And right there in the gap is Gafford for the dunk.
And OKC needs their smalls to be aggressive, kind of getting into those spaces, but Kyrie did a great job using that schematic element against them. But the other thing he could have used against them was just the slightly different catch radius for Daniel Gafford versus Aaron Wiggins.
Yeah, Robbie's got in the playback comments, Robbie's got the quote from Dinwiddie. Yeah, it was even funnier than I remembered. Yeah, so feel free to jump in with a few more questions, obviously. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Maz has been asking. Maz asked what the Celtics could give up to get Santi Aldama from Memphis. I mean, Aldama, he didn't get an extension with Memphis, and that can happen for a number of different reasons. And match rights are really valuable, and so maybe Memphis wants to see where things go. It can at times be an indicator that the team is buying it a little bit less and wants to improve it. I mean, I think it takes a late first. I mean, I don't think they're giving up a good player with match rights for less than that, or like a commensurate value of a young guy. But the Celtics don't really have that guy.
Early season graded JJ Redick as Lakers head coach. I think he may be starting to go to the well a little bit too much in terms of criticizing his team, maybe a little bit. Now, I think LeBron James has had a lot of coaches been afraid to criticize the team. Now, have they actually ever criticized LeBron? No, LeBron is famously a little bit sensitive about stuff like that, certainly in public. They've tried some new things. They've tried to like get up more threes, for example. They've tried to be a little bit better defensively, but the personnel is the personnel. And like, I didn't think that they tried to give Anthony Davis the ball a little bit more. They try to move it more, less LeBron ISO ball, which has kind of worked. And quite frankly, it's had to be, I mean, if you consider the decline that LeBron has shown, that maybe maybe he's doing a good job to kind of have them where they've been.
And I think that he's put Dalton Connect in a position to succeed. Now, playing with LeBron James is going to do some of the lifting there anyway, but I was looking at it. Connect's numbers when LeBron is not on the floor are still very good. I was looking at some of those splits the other day. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably in the B range for him. I think he's better than average. He's, it's a hard set.
I don't know that he's better than average. I think is he a top half of the league coach?
Or no, I think in terms of the job he has done so far. Like, I mean, we've seen Lakers coaches do a worse job with this general personnel than he has.
Yeah, so it's interesting they put Mitchell in the left corner a lot, because he's much better going to his left hand coming out of the right corner, but they're not going to set all that up for Mitchell, as there's Gafford in transition off of the fast break, and Jalen Williams did not go fully vertical and picks up the foul.
Oh, we get asked a question about basically, it appears it wasn't totally coordinated about the Denver trading Jokic. The only way Denver is trading Nikola Jokic is if Nikola Jokic demands a trade. There is no other circumstance.
Yeah, it would seem that way.
Oh, and this was an interesting one we can do a little bit quickly from Biz. Is modern Kyrie a better winning player than 2016? And for me, it is. I think that his improvement in effort and execution defensively is more valuable than the athletic decline that we've seen. And I mean, this is his best shooting season of his career. So if that could continue, then that would be great.
Yeah, OKC was able to restore order at least a little bit, but Gafford getting back to the line. Shea getting a pretty good rest here. He's been out for about 5 minutes. That's always an interesting question of how hard Mark Daignault is going to go. Now, one thing that's very much worth keeping in mind here is these teams don't play until Saturday. Here's a corner three from Wallace. That cashes out. He finally makes one after he'd missed a few open ones in the first.
Yeah, and it's a really good point about these teams not playing it. So you can push pretty hard here.
Good pressure by Williams against Dinwiddie. Gets it to the go and catch by Prosper. And actually, two Thunder deflected his pass to someone who wasn't even really open. And there you see Jason Kidd with Dallas having made a decent run. They kept Doncic out for a time. They're going to go back to Najee Marshall. Surely they're going to play Najee Marshall every second he can coming off that illness. Jason Kidd said we can't rely on him too heavily, but he's going to rely on him as heavily as he possibly can.
I'm interested that this is Najee Marshall out there when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is still on the bench. They're showing Shai right there. I think you want to, if he has limited minutes, pair him with Shai.
Off the corner three, here's Williams going at Gafford. Beautiful left hand. Yeah, look at that left hand. That was a sweeping hook. Dort will pick up Doncic. He came back in along with Luka. They'll switch this initially. Now Luka gets a little foul on Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams wants a review, but that would be a very foolish use of a challenge. Watch this hook shot. Left hand, 7'2" wingspan. He needed every inch of it to get it off the glass.
And Nate, something to keep in mind, I believe that's the third team foul on OKC. So Dallas, they haven't taken a ton of free throws in the game. We've seen 5 for Dallas and 6 for OKC. Could matter.
Double team on Luka. They try to get back into it. Good job by Williams, and he is going to commit the foul there, but that was pretty good work by him to double team the ball and then sprint back to get back into the play at the rim, even though he wasn't quite there to avoid committing the foul.
Yeah, it's a long, long way to go. And so that is the fourth. Is he challenging that?
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think he's going to win this. I think he jumped A to B there, and
I
he
thought
also
he
kind of
did too.
turned his body, but I haven't seen the replay yet, so give it another shot and get a look at it. So yeah, the Kyrie. Oh, here, let's actually just watch this. All right, so yeah, okay, so I think they want the off arm here, and also he's pretty vertical too.
I think that could be a no call. It could be an offensive foul. I think it's both of those things more than a defensive foul.
Yeah, now he doesn't make this right, but yeah, to get an offensive foul, that would also be Grimes' third as well. Yeah, he gets the arm up there. He does get it a little bit away from his, but yeah, that's an offensive foul because he takes the arm off and swings it out. This should be an offensive foul, I believe. He also kind of turns the hand.
That was basically the only contact, like arm contact that happened was him pushing away.
Yeah,
Kenrich didn't do anything until his arm got pushed away.
There's
body
a good
contact.
Here.
Yeah, I like it. I haven't been right on all of my challenge opinions today, but we'll see if I can get this one right.
Yeah, I don't know why Kyrie couldn't have been like this in Brooklyn. It would have been so nice. He actually was when they the rare times that they played with Harden. Like, I mean, the numbers with Kyrie and Durant on the floor were always awesome. They were just so thin.
They were never available.
Yeah. And that series against the Celtics was one of the closest sweep loss ever. It was definitely closer than people remember. It could have gone a lot different if that Marcus Smart doesn't hit that shot in game 1. But like Kyrie was playing more off the ball. He was playing more in transition. He did work to improve his defense. It's just the off the court stuff that was the problem. That's fucking terrible.
Yeah,
But for those of you who couldn't see it, he said it's a normal offensive move, and there's no elbow to wrist extension. That to me, this elbow to wrist extension. I mean, number one, there is. He turns the hand over to push him down, and he smacks the arm out into him. And it certainly isn't a foul on Williams. At a minimum, it should be a no call. That is horrendous.
And if that's the way that the league, like if that's the way the league is going to interpret this, guys should do this more often.
Yeah, I mean, he like slams his arm into his chest. Like, what else is there? That's not a natural basketball move. Like, he obviously knocks it back. Like, when I talked to John, it's up on Dunked On Prime now. I went on my usual rant again for 10 minutes about the off arm. And like, for that to be legal, for it to be this, oh, well, he didn't extend his arm, elbow to wrist. It's like, you fucking smacked him like this.
You don't
You
need
can do
to
that
extend...
as long as you don't extend your elbow. You're allowed to just go like this. It's ridiculous.
It's totally it's a terrible interpretation of the rule. So maybe you need to reinterpret. You need to have a new rule.
Yeah, that's just atrocious. I ranked the off arm as the number 2 thing about the NBA that needs to be improved right now in our pod today. Now they swing it to Marshall in the corner, and welcome back to Najee Marshall to get him back within 2. Joe on the pick and pop gets into the lane, kicks out. Williams just hit a 3 in the first, and he hits another one. That's a big shot there. And one of the things that OKC really failed to do in their series, which Kendrick Williams was not available, by the way, last year.
That's right.
Was to actually space out the centers. And Williams has done that a couple of times. Here's Grimes stepping back to his left and hits. Interesting also, Danny, we have not seen any of Klay Thompson here in the second quarter. Now he's actually headed to the table. Here's Williams again looking for a third 3. Oh, yeah.
Woo! And you brought it up. That brings such an interesting element that they didn't have last year, because if Dallas doesn't have a player for Gafford to stand on, it's a much harder defensive lift for them.
Well, and they also aren't just like they're not succeeding in keeping the center close to the basket on these plays, which is also huge. But yeah, how many more threes are the Thunder shooting this year? Because it does seem to me every time I watch them like they are taking a lot more. A big part of that is just Shea, honestly. And yeah, that's an obvious foul there by Wallace.
So I'll do it as percentage of attempts first, because I know where that is faster.
Yeah.
Last year, 34.7% of their attempts. This year, 39.8%.
Yeah. Now, I would guess the lion's share of that is just Shea taking more off the dribble than he has been.
Biz, every time I see Najee Marshall play, think about Obi Toppin getting as much money. I think he might have gotten more. And yeah, both Najee Marshall and Haywood Highsmith would have made more sense for them or for the Pelicans or a number of other teams than the guys they signed.
Williams this time, he's got to get back outside the arc. Oh, what a play by Wallace to take it away. Here's Dort. He fires. That was a moon ball. He shot that too fast. Thompson is guarded by Shea. They'll switch it. They're not worried about putting Shea onto Lively. Tough step back, Luka against Williams. I think he needs to do better there. And now they're well behind the play, leading to this from Wallace. That rims out.
That would have been a big shot.
Yeah, OKC is getting up a lot of threes here. Hartenstein is at the table. Oh, good double team there by Dort, bottling up Kyrie, but he gets off the ball. Great job by Kyrie Irving there. That's the second time he's kind of been stuck and was able to remain composed enough to make the play. Here's Shea between the legs, gets Marshall on his back. Now he engages Lively and shot over him right at the mesh point of that switch, but couldn't get the shot. Now it's Irving, picked up by Joe. They don't switch it. They double team. Lob up. No, way too high. Intercepted by Williams. Here's Joe again, finding Dort. Dort stuck underneath. Oh, they
don't double boo
over-rotated.
Dort.
No, that's twice now that they've overreacted to Dort, who is an insanely poor finisher. Double teaming him under the rim, just not necessarily there. And I will credit Dort, who is usually a dodgy decision maker on drives, for recognizing that and setting up Joe, and they got to get a timeout.
And so now it is 53-47 in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're 11 of 26 from three, including, I think it's 6 made threes from their bench. So it's 6 and 5 for them. 6 for the bench, 5 for the starters.
You want to take this one from Brian in the YouTube comments?
Your point about perimeter defense being young man's game, I'd be thinking, what if it isn't about losing athleticism, but players just figure out defenders? I think it could be that, but I think it's more the effort and the diligence and everything else like that, because there are new players added into the league. And so like you could see like the way that DeMar DeRozan does, like he can get guys every single time. That's offense, defense. But so I think it's an interesting idea. I think there could be part of that, but defense primarily is reactive, whereas offense is proactive. So I think it's harder to exploit things like that in a micro sense. Maybe in a macro sense you can. But it's an interesting question. I mean, I've been honing this core concept over the last week. So it's still a lot of time that I need to work through it to even see if I think it's valid. Hoops brings up, as a Grizzlies fan, I cringe every time Jaren Jackson Jr. extends his forearm to create space. He gets away with a lot. He does. A lot of guys do. It's so frustrating.
It's being taught by everyone now.
Because as the rules are interpreted right now, it should be. And
why wouldn't you just shove a guy out of the way who's there? All right, so they're close. Oh, that was a great play by Hartenstein. Did you see how much ground he covered? Like, these guys who are double teaming are really getting back into the play fast. They're going to get Clay out to the near corner here. Good job by Shea getting through that screen. Clay can't get it. There's Hartenstein with that rebound. That's the element they missed so badly in that playoff series a year ago. Shea off the screen, engages Lively, almost lost it as on the up fake. Hartenstein back to Joe. Joe working off of Thompson. Fading three is off. Dort almost took it away from Luka. Did take it away, and they're going to get the and one. That's the second time they've just stripped a Dallas defensive rebounder under the basket.
And we saw Orlando do this a little bit in the first game. It's not only about trying to go after the offensive rebound, it's can you get a steal instead of an offensive rebound? You're pressuring in a place that players are not used to being pressured.
Hartenstein not close on the free throw. These centers who shoot 62% from the line. I don't know what Hartenstein has had. He doesn't take a lot of free throws actually, but as Marshall with another one of those knife moves, with Joe in front of him, he went right through him. But these centers who shoot 62% for the line are I'm gonna take threes. As Hartenstein threw it away to Joe on the back door. He picks up Luka. Dort, great hustle back to match up and transition. OKC very motivated defensively. Luka, he's forced a double pump. What defense there by Dort? And now Luka's behind again. Shea going right at Lively. Knocks him back, gets the look, and lips it in off the backboard. 8-point lead for OKC. They are changing the score fast. Thompson on the ball. He's been heard from little in this matchup so far. Marshall, they miscommunicated on the screen, and he gets the floater. Caruso did not want to leave Irving. $14 points for Marshall.
He's been great.
Here's Joe eluding Thompson. Joe has been
They're getting Isaiah Joe good shots. He's going to make more of them than he has in this last stretch.
Here's Luka, triple teamed. Oh, yes, that's such a good pass right there. And that time, I love Luka stringing it out so he could get into a threatening passing position. And Luka, even though he's being pressured, can throw a laser. Shea trying to put Luka in the mix here. trying to get to his spot, goes to the mid-ranger. Dallas has done a good job of that. Oh, Hartenstein shoved off on Lively. Here's Caruso's three. That goes in and out.
And so now Dallas has a chance to tie. They were down 8 just felt like seconds ago.
2-for-1 chance here. Irving going a little early, still trying to put his man in the mix. Marshall on the drive, floats again, high off the window. Nice fight by Shea, but he got it taken away. It was Marshall, and then Lively got stripped too. You got to be strong with the ball in this game. Here's a three from Dort. Oh, God, that is way short. Oh, and Caruso knocks it away from Luka again. Luka's got to be stronger on these rebounds.
That Dort three, it seemed like it got lucky to hit front rim. Like I was watching the arc and I'm like, oh no.
Like usually you say someone opened a door and that's why it was short. Someone opened a door and like gave the breeze towards the rim to even get as close as it did. So Jalen Williams is back in. He actually was out for a little bit. Shea will sit down for the last possession of the quarter. Defensive group. They go over the early double team. That's what the Thunder like to do in these situations. Thompson baited into it, trying to get it work off a Lively. Now he finds him down the lane. Lively. Oh, great verticality. Caruso and Hartenstein came back in. Will they have a chance here? Down to 1. Here's Williams. No, just backboard. So OKC didn't quite get a shot at the end of it. Dallas, a nice rally. And this has been all that we have hoped for here in the first half. And we'll be back for the second half. All right, welcome back, everyone, for the second half. And this has lived up to its billing in the first half, I would say, Danny, if you're back yet.
I am back yet, and it's absolutely has. I mean, and a couple of things that really stuck out to me looking at things a little bit over halftime. One of them, as we got a comment, is that Luka Doncic only has 2 points, 1 of 7 from the field. But something that really stood out to me, I was looking at the shot charts. OKC has only taken 5 shots in the restricted area, and they have 9 steals. I think that does a great reflection of, and sure, they're taking some threes off those steals in Dallas, and this was true last year too when these teams played, doing a great job getting back in transition, even if they have a disadvantage.
Yeah, that's true. It's been a lot of threes in transition. Here's Shea moving it. Dort finding Hartenstein. Hartenstein, he's a unique player because he's so deadly from the dotted line with that floater that when guys drive baseline, he can really be much more of a threat than a lot of bigs. He can create some space to get a passing angle. Trying to get it to Gafford so they can run a play here. They're going to try and get Clay off. You'd think, no, Gafford just going to go one-on-one. Had nothing there. Kyrie offensive rebound. Hartenstein forced the miss from him. Great stand by him. There. Yeah, 2 in a row. Here's Williams pulling up. He had a quiet first half, as he did offensively in that series a year ago. Here's Thompson into the corner. Grimes has a fast break 3 that misses. So they are starting Gafford here in the second half, interestingly. Here's Hartenstein, another floater. That time he was not as automatic, a little bit further out, but a nice contest by Gafford. Here's Doncic, picked up by Hartenstein, gets off the ball underneath. Shea makes the play. No, excuse me, that was Dort. And I'm not sure if that's going to be a foul or out of bounds.
I believe that's going to be an out of bounds.
Here's Kyrie in the corner. Gets past Walls. Oh, he stopped. That was Dort who's come over with back-to-back help plays. Every single Thunder player could make a play on that back line. Now Dort going at Grimes. Doesn't go up, stays on the ball. They'll reset. Little chase from Williams. Gafford stopped him. Hartenstein missed the tip. 2 Thunder down behind the play. Doncic. Gafford. And, Shea almost forced the miss, but Gafford able to put it
That was a great read by Quentin Grimes to rapid throw that pass.
I thought so. That was really good. You're right. Going at Luka now in the pick and roll. Getting off the ball. Hartenstein looking to step it back up for Shea. Shea has tons of space there against the drop coverage. If that's what they're going to defend that, they should go at that every single time. Shea, that's that wide open. That's great offense in the half court. Hartenstein trying to pressure Gafford. Here's Thompson on the move. And that's a good call there. Yeah, he fouled him.
Yeah.
Everyone's complaining, but like that bump there actually does matter. Because Klay Thompson turns the corner if he doesn't bump him like that, and he's moving. He was late reacting to it.
Yeah, that's a foul. You forced him to pick up his dribble.
Forcing Kyrie to his left. Even usually you force guys to the baseline, they want Kyrie going left. Kyrie gets into the lane, rebounded by Williams. Good job by Hartenstein and pick and roll defense. They backed up a little bit more in the pick and roll there against Kyrie. Oh, blow by. And that's me a goaltend. Yep. Clay raises his hand for the film session tomorrow because Shea just went away from the middle and blew by him.
Flambe.
Yeah. Clay tried to push him and it still couldn't get in front of him at all. Williams continuing to bother Grimes. They are doing a great job of not letting Dallas get into their offense and change sides of the floor easily. Now it's Thompson on the attack. And no, he missed it. That's the part of his game that's declined the most since the injury. Here's Jalen Williams, goes right at Luka, somehow missed it. Here's another three-pointer. Williams reset in the corner, and that goes in and out as well. Missed opportunity to go up 10 by OKC. Grimes, he'll turn it back wisely against those two sharks, Shea and Jalen Williams. Luka working hard off the ball. He's upset that he didn't get it for the one time that he actually made a cut, and as it turns out, they turn it over.
And I thought that ball got tipped by, I can't remember if that was Kaysen or Dort, but I thought that was deflected. Let's see. Oh no, just his
No,
foot. Good
no,
call.
just I mean, OKC
And
is really turning the pressure up
and
here.
and Nate, Dallas had this big 8-0 push to start the game when most people had the other game on. And then they've only scored 2 points in the first almost 3.5 minutes of this third quarter.
Yeah, Dallas with Luka and Kyrie, famously a low turnover team. OKC forcing turnovers at a rate that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. Maybe ever, actually. I would need to look at it as Shea. Again, they're going after that drop coverage now with Shea. That I really like the halftime adjustments here. They're pressuring up even more on the perimeter. Luka, they're just like not even letting him get the ball. Now he finally gets it. They do double team him. Hartenstein maybe could have retreated a little faster. That's a nice play by Lively, but Grimes has missed a couple open ones.
But another job where OKC's low man forced the decision.
Yeah. Now they're going to move it here with Shea against Thompson. He likes the matchup, puts him in the mix. Kyrie trying to get to the elbow to stop him. Shea swings it. Here's Dort on the drive. Tough fade away. Wow, how'd that go in?
And Lou Dort does not convert well on drives. That was a really tough shot.
So Jason Kidd will take his automatic here for the third quarter.
And Nate, that is a 10-2 run to start the third quarter in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And when you look at the shots that they've gotten so far, so OKC in just the third quarter, in these few minutes, they've already taken 7 shots in the paint. Then they made their other 2 mid-rangers, but those were both pretty good looks from Shea. And they've only taken 2 threes. So it's a very different distribution, but some of that's dictated by the turnovers that they forced. Let's see if we have any good questions.
Yeah, so I was starting to say OKC winning the turnover battle with 13 Dallas turnovers and 10 steals now. And the only way Dallas's transition defense is the only way they've managed to keep this even close right now. But I think OKC is just playing a lot better at the moment.
And Nate, a wild stat on that: OKC only got what Clean the Glass calls a transition play on 44% of their 9 steals so far. So on 4 out of the 9, and that's incredible transition defense. There were a couple of those like turnover, turn it back that nukes that number a little bit, but still. I love watching these two teams play each other. And we talked a little bit, because unusually previewing a regular season game, but about how the new additions were going to change it, and they really have. I mean, we've seen Hartenstein play a big part in a couple different facets. Klay Thompson has loomed large too, and Najee Marshall has arguably been the best Mavericks scorer so far. Thank you to Armundi for the nice comment. Appreciate that. For Alex asks, thoughts on how Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren will fit together. I think that it'll be, so I've been more skeptical of this than I think some are, not because either one of them is a bad player, but because I feel that Oklahoma City is at their best when Chet Holmgren plays the 5, because that gives them something different. I think defensively it'll be fantastic, because Holmgren, I think he can defend the 4 well enough. It was something that I believed in him going back to when he was at Gonzaga and even in high school. But I thought he might have to do that because he wasn't big enough to play the 5, or thick enough, let's put it. But I think that it just makes them a lot less interesting offensively. And Holmgren shoots well for a 5. I don't think he shoots well for a 4. So that creates some problems too.
Yeah, certainly. I think having the ability to go 2 bigs, though, is something that it is very nice to have in your toolbox.
Yeah, and to be clear, I'm not saying like they'll be bad. I'm just saying I think it'll be a little bit, it won't be as much of a competitive advantage because it takes away something important.
So another takeaway I have here early is that Klay Thompson just hasn't mattered at all in this matchup. And they have gone back to Najee Marshall now. Luka finds Kyrie on the opposite side. Kyrie stopped by Hartenstein, gets it to Klay, not close on the jumper. Like this, Klay Thompson was supposed to be in part an antidote to this strategy on the backside as Luka just throws it away. Terrible pass. Shea was all over it. Marshall picks him up. Shea just fires the three. Oh, that could have been a big shot to put him up
Great
14. Rebound,
rebound.
Wallace. Shea, yes, that time. That was beautiful. Wallace has been a pest on the offensive glass tonight.
Yeah, in the possession game, that's the 10th individually credited offensive rebound for the Thunder. They did not have a ton in the beginning of the game.
They're really missing PJ Washington in terms of the physicality as Kyrie eschews the screen and just goes right at Wallace for a score. But I don't know if that sort of individual offense is going to be enough. Here's Shea's got Hartenstein up top. Wants to get it back. Instead, they change sides of the floor. They've got Lively out on the floor. I think they maybe could have tried to attack elsewhere. Yeah, that's nice. That's becoming a much more common action there, Danny. We used to talk about the 1-4-5 pick and roll. Now teams are doing the 1-5-2 pick and roll.
Yeah, and it brings about a tough read for the center.
Yeah, who's not used to potentially switching onto someone like that. Here's Wallace again. And Williams, great rebound underneath. I think that was Kyrie.
It was.
They pushed it ahead. Thompson had Marshall in the corner. Back to Luka, who's been incredibly quiet. Goes into Dort. Oh, and he got bailed out there. That was going to be another steal. Dort did reach in a little bit. Luka trying to say he was shooting. He was not.
He was not. And Luka Doncic has not taken a shot during this third quarter.
I mean, how many touches has he even had? He's going to actually take a seat here?
Not many. You're right. That's an even better point. He has no credit assists in this quarter either.
Yeah, I mean, we this OKC defense, and they're doing this without Holmgren too. And like Kaysen Wallace is better this year. With Luka out, now they're going with Joe. I think you can get away with him more with Luka out. Hartenstein gives rebounding and rim protection. Here's Dinwiddie's three. They need that. Taken away by Shea. Here's a nice run by Williams. He beat Klay down floor, but couldn't get a clean catch. Irving going to try to force him left again. Hartenstein comes over on the strong side zone. Irving gets off the ball. He's saying, hey, go. Set a screen, do something. But Kyrie maybe had the attack there. Marshall gets a flare screen. They'll give that up. And Najee Marshall has 17 points.
2 of 2 from 3, 7 of 8 from the field for Najee Marshall. 17 points, 18 minutes.
Luka looking frustrated, talking to assistant Jared Dudley there. Hartenstein took a little blow. Here's Shea. Cut off nicely by Lively. Joe working on Thompson. Back to Gilgeous-Alexander. He'll try the blow by up high off the glass and against Lively.
And that was partially set up by Shea not taking the first shot against Lively, getting a better one.
Thompson stopped on the sideline. Beautiful alley-oop pass by Dinwiddie. Remember when Dinwiddie could just like never connect on an alley-oop pass?
It was amazing.
In Brooklyn.
Oh.
That was a nice play by Dinwiddie, who's been an unexpected rock for this group. Now Williams goes at him, and he scores there. I'd like to see him be able to get a little bit better of a shot against Spencer Dinwiddie, but he made the tough one. Now they throw it ahead to Kyrie. Again, another just atrocious turnover. Who threw that pass? Was that Dinwiddie? Here's Joe with the three. That's going to be off. Rebound. Hartenstein. He'll go up for the cram.
And that was Dinwiddie on the bad pass. And so now it is a 16-point Oklahoma City Thunder lead. And during this third quarter, 8 minutes roughly of action, 22-9.
It seems like less for Dallas, frankly, but
yeah.
I mean, this turnover rate is absolutely insane now. You get it in front of me here, but
over the course of the full game, Dallas is turning it over on 20% of their possessions, and that's per clean the glass. And so it's 14 turnovers, but then the more important part in certain ways, even though OKC hasn't been effective on them, 11 of those are live ball. And so it's just, even if you defend well in transition, and Dallas has been great, it's hard to survive on that kind of a thing.
Well, and Dallas also isn't doing anything on the offensive glass either. And
I was going to bring that up a few minutes ago. I mean, we wondered about Hartenstein's impact, and one of the ways that we knew he would impact things was on the defensive glass. Dallas's offensive rebound rate in this game is 13%. That is towards the bottom of the league.
I mean, that the worst team in the league, I think, is like the Bucks with like 21 or 22%. So yeah, that
Yeah.
is basically nothing. And Dallas, especially without PJ Washington, they just don't have the level of athleticism and effort and physicality so far in this game that's going to be required.
Yeah. And as the NBA official stat define it, Dallas has 3 second chance points. OKC only has 9, but that's still a lot more. This has been an extremely low foul game. Both teams under double-digit free throws, 9 for the Mavericks, 7 for the Thunder. That's another kind of really notable element of this game so far. That could change depending on foul situation, but maybe the lead will be too big for that. So, I mean, you're 100% right that PJ Washington's absence has made a huge difference. No, I mean, he was gargantuan in that series last year. Is that as damning for Dallas as it seems?
No. I mean, there's a reason they traded for him, and there's a reason that they, quite frankly, took a swing on him because they don't have a power forward. They're also missing Maxi Kleber tonight as well.
That's true.
And Washington, how did he kill them last year? He got some rebounds, and on the backside, he as a driver and a shooter, and that's where they've been unable to make them pay again with Luka getting off the ball early. Like they need another. Like there's a reason that Najee Marshall has all these points. Some of that's been in transition, but some of it's been catching the ball with no one in front of him and being able to go to the basket. Like Klay Thompson hasn't been able to do anything in that situation. Dinwiddie, is just not threatening enough in that situation. Grimes has been off as well. And the Thunder, like we were talking about earlier, like they feel like if it's just a guy who's all he's going to do is shoot, we can close that guy down and deal with him on the drive, and we'll probably force a turnover. And they forced a lot of turnovers. So Dallas, with Luka getting back in the game here in danger time, Caruso is in as well. They go to the small group. Good denial by Wallace. Luka pushes off to get open for 3. Still without more than a single field goal. Caruso, being guarded by the center, eschewed that shot. He's going to now set the screen for Shea. They get the switch. Caruso on the drive. Stop from behind. What a block by Lively. That could have been a left-handed finish by Caruso. Wallace picking up Doncic, but then they set the screen to put Caruso on him. I'm not sure why. And Doncic does get the foul. I think that's going to be Shea reaching in off the corner.
It is, yes. And so Luka Doncic, we've talked about how he's only taken now 8 shots from the field. These are his first 2 free throws of the game, too. That reflects his lack of involvement in the Dallas offense.
Well, how many times has Luka Doncic even possessed the basketball inside the three-point arc in this game?
It feels like a handful.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
And a couple of those were terrible passes that got intercepted.
Yeah. Yeah, and that time they bailed him out with that help off the corner, and reaching in, Shea was kind of tapping his head after that one. Yeah, so I was hoping we'd see more of this Caruso-Luka matchup, but if they're going to put 2 on the ball, you almost don't really need to waste Caruso in that way.
And he's good reacting in space.
Williams looking to get it to Shea. They get Kyrie onto Shea, trying to bring Lively over to help. Shea's still on the ball. Goes to a tough fadeaway with 7 on the clock, and he drained it. But with Dallas playing offense like this, they'll actually live with that shot for Shea. The big thing there is for Shea, if he can make that shot a 16-footer instead of a 20-footer, it's such a big difference for him. Luka trying to get it. There's a touch. I'm not counting this as inside the arc yet. Now it is. He goes across the lane in the corner. Pass was off, though. Marshall goes right in. Oh, he stripped from behind. Another steal. That was Shea who got him. Now Shea going right at Irving. Lively did well to get back. More great transition defense, and they throw it away. That Mavs transition defense, and it leads to this layup by Dinwiddie. That was awesome work by Derek Lively getting back and foiling that layup to enable everyone to get in position and get the steal.
And a great touch pass there by Najee Marshall to open up the Dinwiddie layup.
Here's Shea finding this is Wallace going at Luka. Can he hustle, get into the corner? Couldn't get that three. He's been hot from there. Wallace picking up Luka. They have Dort off the floor here. Luka trying to create space against Wallace, but he's out of rhythm right now. He's actually gotten a couple of looks recently against Wallace. Yeah, no Jalen Williams and no Dort, so they don't have as much size against Doncic as normal. I would advise Doncic to try to go one-on-one and see if he can get into the lane and make some plays, and that's exactly what they're seeing now. Daignault is right on it. They changed up Luka's usual rotation, and Daignault is doing the same, coming back with Dort to guard Luka here.
And incredibly, that is Dallas's first foul of this third quarter. And generally speaking, that few fouls is a problem for you defensively.
Goes screen. Shea into the corner. Caruso fires again. And he still hasn't been able to get him out of that strategy. He's only hit one so far.
Yeah, 1 for 5.
He's passed up a few. Marshall working on Joe into the lane, and Lively is down. Hopefully okay. It'll be a foul on Joe.
I think it was just a push in the back. I think he's okay.
Daignault lost his challenge on a challenge that I thought should have been successful in the first half, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I'm going to get angry.
And Najee Marshall gets to continue his great game from the line. This is a chance to put up his 19th point of the game already. Coming off the bench, he is the leading scorer for the Mavs, and it's not close. Clay is the only other Maverick in double digits. Clay has 11.
Yeah, so I don't remember him scoring 11 points.
It was early. He had a couple early baskets.
Here's Shea. He's guarded well by Marshall. Marshall can't get Shea can't get the foul. But yeah, Lively is really clogging things up off of Caruso right now. They're going to try to go at Doncic, but they're very late in the clock. 3-pointer, and that's not good enough by Luka. That late in the clock, you got to press up, force him to drive into the help. You let him just shoot over you there, and it's back to 15. Dinwiddie going to try Joe. It's devolved into one-on-one by some of these lesser players by Dallas. Doncic a catch-and-shoot three, and finally gets his second field goal of the evening.
Yeah, and his first three, 1 for 5 from 3, 1 for 5 from 2.
Now Dallas thinking about going for the double team, and Kidd calls it off. Yeah, Kidd says soft. Now it's a ghost screen 3 for Joe. That was beautiful recognition. Seeing that Quentin Grimes was trying to come over and maybe double team, Joe just snuck right behind him into open space. That was amazing work. And that's going to be a hold and free throws for Luka.
Yeah, okay. OKC in the penalty here, so that's going to be 2. OKC then, because of the differential, they can take the last shot of the quarter here. But you still don't want Luka getting 2 free throws.
Yeah, Dort talking about it, but he was holding Luka around his back from behind, it looked like to me.
Yeah. This has been a very low foul game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the only player with 3, and everybody else has 2 or fewer.
And Luka misses that free throw. So Jalen Williams will replace Kenrich Williams. The Thunder down a Williams, of course, with the big man Jalen Williams out of Arkansas has not played due to a hamstring. He hurt it early in camp and then suffered a setback a couple of weeks ago. So no indication that he's close. But
yeah, I think
someone who could be in their rotation.
I think I heard from the aggravation it was going to be 6 to 8 weeks again, which would be, I think, around the end of the year.
The aggravation, is that like an injury focused like trade newsletter?
we can offer that to Jeff Stotts, but I think he already has a good name.
Yeah. All right, 1 second differential. We'll see if they can run it down for the absolute last shot. I think they're going to use Shea in the screening action, interestingly here. Williams pulls up early off the glass. They want to go for an offensive rebound. Caruso has it. Time running down. And Joe hits to end the quarter with a 17-point Oklahoma City lead. Incredible hustle. Caruso beat Doncic to the ball and gets his team 3 points.
Yeah, Isaiah Joe gets it off in time, even with that contest. And that
Does
was
he get it off with the so I think the shot clock actually did reset there. It should have. They didn't reset it, but it hit the rim, right? The first shot.
I think it
Did
did.
that first shot hit the rim? Yeah, I think it did. So the shot clock was still going, but it should have been reset. So it wouldn't have mattered. I like as it was going, it was pretty close to whether, but I think they actually just turned off the shot clock because you never saw the yellow light come
Yeah,
on, I don't think. So they
I
must
think
have
they
just turned it off right as he was shooting it.
yeah, because I'm pretty sure the original Jalen Williams shot hit rim. Basketball Reach says Luka has a Draymond Green stat line right now, minus the defensive impact. I think that his defensive impact has been significant in this game. So it's not the same as Draymond, but I think he's been very good. So yeah, I mean, I would say if you told OKC that he was going to have that line, and not that Lou Dort has guarded Luka on every single play, but Luka was going to have his line, you take that every day of the week and twice on Sundays. And I'm going to be very interested because we saw Jason Kidd change up Luka Doncic's rotation during that third quarter, and nice work by Mark Daigneault to tweak things in kind to see how that affects the fourth. Now, what's something we see sometimes in these circumstances, and I think it's even more pressing in the NBA Cup, is you see this like early fourth quarter push. So basically the idea is you give your team 5-6 minutes and you say, if you could get it close, then we'll see where things are. But if you don't, then we'll pull our guys. And this is a game that matters. And so you want to push for it, but you might have a certain point if OKC can kind of hold it here, especially if Dallas continues to struggle offensively, where you just have to kind of pull the ripcord and play. But as Nate brought up, I mean, the winner of this game plays Saturday. The loser of this game doesn't play until Sunday. So it's a long break.
What are we doing for playback for the remaining Cup games? I mean, I think probably. I think it will. I can do at least the first quarterfinal, especially now that it doesn't involve the Magic without Paolo or Franz.
Oh, the first semifinal.
The first semifinal. Yeah, thank you.
I should be able to do that as well.
Yeah, but I've got the second game. I may have to watch on delay because it's my father-in-law's birthday that night. So yeah, I think we'll try. We'll let you all know once we see what the matchup is. But Milwaukee, New York would be a great game. I mean, OKC and Golden State would be a great game. So same with Houston.
Yeah, OKC Houston played a fun game like a week and a half ago.
That's true. Yeah, we watched that one. So I wonder, that would be interesting. I assume if the Warriors lose, that Milwaukee and New York would be the nightcap.
That would be interesting. I do know that if the Warriors lose, they host the loser of this game on Sunday. I know that for my own travel purposes, but all
right, so Dallas has got to get some work done here. Doncic gets a Dort in the air, and that was nice. That was a set play. They run him off the ball, and so you can't double team him when he's making that catch right there. But, that's not how Luka Doncic plays. AJ Mitchell has the pick and roll with Hartenstein in the corner. Caruso. I think I believe they set that up as a set play as well, Danny.
I agree.
I think because they knew they would pull in off of Caruso, and they wanted to get him more of an open catch and shoot look. Dinwiddie couldn't get it off the glass. Here's more transition. Mavs get 4 guys back again. They are in perfect position. Prosper guarding Mitchell. There's the little handoff by Hartenstein. Williams, tough fader going right, and he does hit that one. He's much more comfortable going left, but it is now a 20-point game here, and we're probably pretty close to turning this off, I would say.
I think so.
Here's Irving into Caruso. That was twice now. He's scored tough buckets against Caruso, but every bucket for Dallas, it seems like, is a really difficult one. There's Williams in the pick and roll going at Gafford. Hook, second time he's gotten that beautiful rolling hook. once with the left, once with the right, into the chest at Gafford. Here's Luka. Wow, you know he's really desperate when he's pushing the ball up floor like this. Here's Dinwiddie and AJ Mitchell with a bad reach in. Dinwiddie has gotten to the line on a couple of griffs.
Yeah, and I think Mitchell was kind of conceding territory and swiped to probably avoid that, but I think it wouldn't have generated that great of a shot if he had just taken it. Somebody mentions that our Google Calendar didn't have tonight's game. I mean, we had squared it up, and I apologize. I could have informed the appropriate parties so that I should be better about that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess we put it on League Pass. So yeah, sorry about that. We also just decided we were doing it yesterday, I think. But
yeah,
here is Jalen Williams. That's a tougher one. Gafford a little more aggressive, challenging. Hartenstein is behind. Can they push it up here? Prosper along the baseline. Mitchell stood tall. He's wrapped up again, and that's a foul on Mitchell, and it goes. That was a great job by Prosper. I thought he was going to turn that over, but he was really strong with the ball. You just have to do that against this OKC team, or you'll commit. How many turnovers are they up to now?
They are up to 15 turnovers, 11 of those steals.
Yeah, I mean, that's even the bigger number, but nonetheless, like pretty good work by Dallas getting back. I mean, I think, to me, are easily the best transition defense team in the league.
One wild stat, Dallas hasn't had much of it, but as Cleaning the Glass defines it, a 0.3 points per transition play for Dallas.
Boy, Jalen Williams is getting all he can eat on that shot over Gafford. Gafford's been a little more aggressive getting out of his drop. Now Gafford tried to post up, and Williams fought him well. Dinwiddie. They've got Kyrie and Luka in the game here without Shea to try to make a push right now. Hartenstein gets out on the floor again. Luka makes the pass. Mitchell steps up. Gafford almost out of time. And I think that's going to be late by Irving. For now, they're going to count
They'll review it.
Yeah, I think that's going to get reviewed, and it's going to be late. It's very close. Here's Williams. He turns the corner. No, nice play by Prosper on the backside. Took it away. And again, they bottle up Doncic. Prosper has it. Dinwiddie. Oh, yeah, too slow to get to the corner. Irving does have plenty of time here, and he's got, in theory, 2 in a row. Mark Daigneault has to get timeout, and we'll see whether we come out of this timeout, whether it's a 10-point game or a 13-point game. That's a pretty big difference at this point. But, hey, at least enough to keep us here a little bit longer.
No, that was this. I wanted to see the first one again, but they showed the second one. 2 Kyrie Irving corner threes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a nice little comeback here from Dallas. As things stand right now, it's a 14-7 run to start the fourth quarter. It's exactly what they need in order to stay viable in this one.
Just going to see if we got any comments here.
Robin saying he remembers talking to some scouts about Case and Wallace, and we're just raving about his defense and how he does all the little things right. Wallace, so that was a draft I didn't get a chance to scout a lot of guys. I didn't get to do the crazy stuff I did for 2024. I think I probably would have liked his film because of how hard he works on that. But it's taking a player like him. He was taken 10th, correct? Yeah, because then they traded that. It was 10th and 12th. These two teams made
Lively and Wallace were traded for each other.
And so, like, you have to be able to do those things well. But Case Wallace had also, like, his ridiculous 2-point conversion rate last year.
Kyrie is an all-time great shooter. That's 100% correct.
Yes,
yeah, I mean, we tried to talk about it. We did maybe even on our awards when we had him on All NBA.
Yeah.
Or maybe you did. I don't know. I can't remember if I did actually.
I definitely did. I think I had him second team.
What do you attribute Dallas's great transition defense to? Well, it's been the case ever since Jason Kidd got there. Maybe part of it is because Jason Kidd was so intent on running that he's also intent on getting back. I would actually say the biggest thing at this point in time is the way that they play their centers. that they're
Yes.
playing their centers in these 4-minute bursts. So those guys come out there, they're playing really hard. They're never tired. They can go for the offensive glass, and they also have enough energy to sprint back. Whereas for a lot of centers, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
And they just do a really good job of communicating as well. But it's just, I mean, they fucking sprint back. I mean, that's the biggest thing. And the centers have the energy to do it.
Center transition defense being a non-negotiable for Dallas makes so many things work because you have the big man back. But I mean, we talked about on the other play, OKC got a steal and there were 4 Mavericks back on the play. Like that's not just the bigs. It's a remarkable team effort and emphasis.
I mean, they win the first 2 or 3 steps of transition. That's like, do you make those? Because like, it's not even necessarily you got a dead sprint. You need to just sprint for 2 steps and you got to do it immediately. And once you do that, you can kind of be in like, a like half sprint back, but it's just that second of indecision. And then sort of like, I'm going to look at the ref for a second. Shaq used to do this thing where if he missed, he would sort of just like stand there. And then he would sort of like take this little hop in the air before he started running and never get back. Like if you just are like, no, you drill it in that every time there's a turnover or a rebound, you're sprinting back. It's very solid. All right. So I guess that shot was good by Kyrie. And they immediately get a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander pick and pop 3. Using Shai as the screener is something that they're unveiling a little more this year. Here's more pressure again. They are forcing Dallas so far out on the floor. They want to get Doncic to try to draw the foul, and he somehow scores.
That's such a hard shot. And there was a dig by Caruso too, but it's very hard to strip Luka in that situation.
Yeah, similar set to what they ran. OKC forced him further out on the floor than out of the last time out, as Caruso being guarded by the center. Here's Williams. Caruso tried to slip to the rim. Williams missed him. Now Dort is going to try Luka. Blow by. High off the glass. Far too high. Gafford crashed into him. It's a 4-on-4. Now Dinwiddie into the corner. Prosper's 3 is good. Prosper giving him some pretty darn good minutes. And it's down to 8. OKC starting to struggle to score. They went back to Shai. They got the 1-3, but in the half court, the playing Caruso guard along the baseline being guarded by Gafford hasn't worked, but Williams has been effective in the mid-range to get it back to a 10-point lead. Dinwiddie. Caruso with the steal. Dinwiddie got caught in the air. He tried the Halliburton jump pass, and that should be a foul on Irving. No, just out of bounds. I thought
that was a reach.
I thought it was more a body foul by Kyrie. Challenge is gone. Hey, he gets it off his leg. Yeah,
so yeah, it wasn't a reach. That was clean. I think the body contact was still sufficient.
Yeah, but it didn't look as bad from that baseline angle. And that's a really hard play for the referee to call, sprinting in transition. She did well to get actually into position behind where you need to be on the baseline, but it's down to 10 again. And it is Caruso now guarding Luka. And yeah, some kind of a clock issue. Dagnall, I think, is still complaining about that last play with Jalen Williams, but OKC still in a commanding position. They're gonna have to start scoring. Dallas is actually unlocking things a little bit on the offensive end. Dinwiddie off the screen. Marshall. They did take Prosper out of the game. Backdoor Luka. Step up by Williams, and the pass was just a little bit too short for Lively. 2 Thunder were there to break it up, and that's going to be a foul on Doncic, and he again claims credit in his fashion.
Yeah, because he definitely did it.
Hey, Robin, it's cold in those arenas. That's why he's going for the fully zipped up quarter zip. I can tell you, I like huddle up like the Unabomber when I go into one of those arenas. It is.
They're often very cold.
Wallace points away Williams to go screen for Shai. Williams didn't cut to the rim. Now Shea is by himself, as Jason Kidd says, against Marshall. Marshall staying on him. Shea puts him in the mix. He maybe could have jumped into him there for the foul and said Caruso corner. Does he get it off? Huge three by Wallace.
And I really liked Caruso understanding that Lively was going to back off of Case and Wallace there, and that's a good three to generate.
Yeah, Caruso is a good decision maker, even if he's not a great scorer. 2 on the ball for Kyrie. Williams backs away now. Marshall. He'll drive it on Shea. Shea got another steal again. 3 on 2. Thompson is sprinting back. And there's the alley-oop. Was that Case and Wallace off of 2 feet the massive jam? And OKC back up by 15.
Whew.
This defense is unbelievable. "13 steals.
13 steals, 17 Mavericks turnovers. And coming into today's game, I'm pulling this up. I was going to do it from memory, but I was going to do it wrong from memory. Dallas, the 9th lowest turnover rate in the entire NBA, and then they've had 17 turnovers so far in this game.
I'm surprised, actually. Well, you know probably why part of that is that Luka missed a bunch of time.
Right.
I wonder what. Yeah, probably. I'm guessing with Luka on the floor, they very rarely turn it over. Like, he himself will have a fair number of turnovers, but because he makes the decision usually.
Yeah, it's sort of similar to the Trae Young, where you're like, oh, you see a high number of turnovers, but they have the ball in their hands so much that it's actually not that high a turnover rate because they commit all of their team's turnovers.
So a couple interesting things from the shot charts here. The Mavs only 13 of 24 at the rim. They usually are a devastating rim shooting team. OKC themselves have struggled in the paint too. I mean, the Mavs have done a good job of protecting the paint as well.
Well, Nate, briefly, only nine of those 24 Dallas shots at the rim are by their centers, and those guys are 6 for 9. It's everyone else that's having the problems.
Here's another interesting stat for you. Both teams are 5 of 6 from the left corner for threes.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there have been a ton of corner threes in this game too. 13 for the Mavs, 11 for the Thunder.
And the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander mid-range offense is definitely the case here. He's 6 for 8 from mid-range. The rest of both teams combined have taken 8.
And I'm sure it feels like, with Doncic struggling like this and just the ball being taken out of his hands, that Dallas is really far away in this game. I don't think they are, honestly. I think that they can just make a little bit better decisions. I shouldn't say in this game. Like, they're going to lose this game in all likelihood. But just in terms of the matchup, even without Washington, and of course Chet would be a much different piece to throw into this mix as well.
We could do.
Well, here. Sorry, let me finish.
Sorry.
That I don't think they're that far away because, like, I think the Dallas defense has been pretty good overall. Like 7-11 mid-range shooting. Shea can do that, but he's hit a bunch of tough ones. Like, they've walled off the rim. They stopped him in transition. So I think, like, just a little fewer turnovers and maybe a little worse shooting luck for OKC, and Dallas actually would kind of be right there in this game.
I think that's completely fair, and especially when you consider PJ Washington not being there, though, of course, Chet Holmgren isn't either. But what the question I wanted to do briefly from Joff was basically, he asked Wallace or Lively for the rest of their career. I really like Case and Wallace, but for me, it's Derek Lively, knowing what we know right now, because there are guards that can be really, really good players who aren't, great at generating good looks. But broadly speaking, I'm going to take a above average starting caliber center over those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think Derek Lively is probably already a top 20 center in the league. And we're going to get Lively with the trip here. Now he's down to the number 21 center in the league.
Derek Lively, I need to see a replay on this one. He sets all of his screens like with his legs way outside his shoulders. It's just a very
the cone of his body, as they like to say. Yeah, I mean, that left leg. And it could be hard because you're trying to roll out of there quickly. You need to push off, but don't try that against Alex Caruso. He'll draw the foul. Nice job by Marshall switching out on Williams. Williams with the step back. Wallace wasn't ready to shoot. Williams will try again. Lively is there. Williams, beautiful step back. I actually think I like Williams better against Marshall rather than Shea because Williams has the strength advantage. Here's Luke. He's going to just start firing here. Tipped out Lively, but goes right to Caruso. Lively has not made an impact in the offensive glass. Shea, and that's another foul by Doncic. And I think we can probably pack this one in here, Danny.
I think we can.
17-point game with 5:14 left. I think that's all we're going to see from OKC, and they've done it here in this fourth without Hartenstein until now. But yeah, this is fun. We'll see y'all on the pod, and of course we got to talk about the 2 games tomorrow on that as well. So thanks so much for joining us here on Playback and YouTube. And not going to do a game tomorrow in all likelihood. Maybe I'll turn it on at the very end of the night game if it's close. But we will do probably the early quarterfinal. But we'll make sure that calendar is updated in the future. That's a good reminder. Thanks again for joining us here on Playback and YouTube.